What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Against All Odds podcast. I'm here with Carlos. Carlos, welcome.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. How you feeling?
Nervous.
Really? Have you been on a real podcast before?
No. So like, it's more like I don't know what to expect, especially from you. So I don't know.
Don't worry. I'll walk you through it. It'll be good. Yeah. So anyway, for this podcast, what I do is I go through some rapid fire questions. And then after the rapid fire questions gets you loosened up, then we'll just go through your full career.
Perfect.
Have you listened to anybody's on the team yet?
I listened, not to anyone on the team. I listened to when you did Sean's.
Sean Lewis?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day.
Back a while ago. And then, who was it? I listened to a couple, like piece by piece, but I remember that one very specifically.
Uh-huh.
But I've like gotten bits and pieces of other ones.
Okay.
And just flicked through them a little bit. So like, I know a little bit of it, but like not exactly what to expect. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, let's run the intro and then let's get into it. All right, Carlos. So, rapid fire questions.
All right.
Tell me your full name.
Carlos Eduardo Herrera Lepe.
Carlos. Age.
27.
Position.
Goalkeeper.
Favorite goalkeeper to watch.
Manuel Neuer.
Favorite team.
Mexico, Cruz Azul.
Outside of Mexico.
Manchester United.
Okay. I didn't know you were a United fan.
I am. A lot of us in the locker room.
There's a decent amount, yeah. Favorite meal.
Favorite meal, enchiladas. Homemade. by my mom.
Chicken?
Chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken, red sauce.
Okay. Favorite dessert.
Churro cheesecake.
Favorite churro cheesecake.
Yeah.
How's that work?
Well, it's like a cinnamon
Just the flavoring of it?
Yeah. They have a great
decent.
Slice at Cheesecake Factory, and then
Yeah.
Giselle makes some great churro cheesecake as well.
Okay. I got to try the churro cheesecake because I love churros and I love cheesecake.
Dude, your life's going to be changed forever.
Favorite vacation you've ever been on?
I would say most recently, this last off season in Mexico with my wife and her family.
Which part of Mexico?
We went to Puerto Vallarta for a week, stayed at a resort, and then we visited both of my in-laws' smaller towns where they're from. Mm-hmm. So we got to see a little bit of like the touristy side of Mexico, and then like the very like what I consider to be actually Mexico.
The actual Mexico, not just the resorts and stuff like that.
Just the little corner stores, brick streets, gravel, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. I've got to go back and visit my relatives down there. For those who are listening, I'm 25% Mexican. Do you fully believe it yet? Like, have you accepted that I'm Mexican or no?
Like, honestly, I don't know. I don't believe half the stuff that comes out of your mouth. I can't. You just say it with such conviction that I'm like, I feel like I have to accept that it's true. But like, genuinely, at any point, you could just be lying. Yeah,
it's fair, but I am. Yeah, my mom 100%. No, she's 50%. My grandpa's 100%. But we kind of got separated from that side of the family.
See, like even just now, like you explaining it, it's hard to.
I got it. My mom and dad are coming in, so after the game, I'll have them. I'll just bring all the team over.
Yeah,
my mom will be like,
"We need confirmation. I would like to see a 23andMe. Like, I
get
see
it.
Something.
Yeah, I got actually ancestor DNA. I can show you.
I'll need to see it.
Yeah. Are you 100% Mexican, both sides?
Yes. Born in Mexico. My parents were born in Mexico. My grandparents were born in Mexico. So I would like to think I'm as Mexican as you can get.
Where were you born?
I was born in Mexico City.
Mexico City.
Yeah.
So you consider yourself Mexican, American, Mexican American? What do you view?
I consider myself Mexican, but it's at times one of those weird ones where like I don't feel like I'm from there, and I don't feel like I'm from here.
Yeah.
But I essentially grew up here in the United States, so culturally, like a lot of my friends, I pick up like a lot of the American side of the culture, but deep down, I consider myself Mexican.
Who do you support when it comes to the World Cup?
Mexico.
Mexico?
Not even a question.
Oh, yeah. All right.
What about you with your 25%? Do you ever
Mexico?
Root for Mexico?
No, USA, 100%. That's where the Mexican side is completely gone, is when the World Cup starts.
My earliest memory.
Or the Olympics.
My earliest memory had to have been, one of my earliest memories of the World Cup was the 2002 World Cup. Where Mexico and the United States played in a knockout round. And I remember because we were driving back and we were listening to it on the radio, and it was we're back in California, so it was a late night game because obviously they're in Japan. So we're listening. Obviously Mexico ended up losing, but I remember because as we parked the car, the commentators start going crazy, and we're listening on the radio. We have no clue what's going on. Turn on TV, USA scored. Obviously, they won 2-0, I think, that game. So that's like my earliest memory, but it's always been Mexico.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Do you have any other nation that you support besides Mexico then?
No,
Just
Mexico.
Yeah, it's hard to do that. I'm always interested though. Some guys do.
I think countries are like, unless you have family and you're like split down the middle, or you're like from two countries, I think, I don't think that's one that's very likely.
Yeah.
Even clubs, like, obviously, like, I have my club from Mexico City, but I grew up and like I liked watching Manchester United, so I just kind of stuck with them. But like, for some reason, Club World Cup, I don't know, if Russell were to play Manchester United, I would stick with my team from Mexico.
Yeah, makes sense. Cruz Azul. What city are they from?
Mexico City.
Okay.
So like, I have pictures of me and like as a toddler, baby, in like Cruz Azul shirts.
That's
and, like,
cool.
All I knew was paying for a better part of 20-something years. They just won their first championship. Their last one was in December of '97, so 3 months after I was born. So obviously don't remember it. And they didn't win their first league championship until, I want to say, like 2022.
Wow.
So 20-something years of me watching like 6 finals and then not being able to win. So finally witnessing them win was something. Was definitely something.
Where were you when they won?
I was in my apartment with my now wife, and it was obviously a 2-leg game. And they first leg they won 1-0, second leg they tied 1-1, so they ended up winning.
Yeah.
But my wife, she knows way more about soccer now, but obviously like the 2-leg games were a little confusing at first. And game ends, and she just sees me grab a pillow to my face, like crying, right? Absolutely bawling my eyes out. She has no idea. She's like, did they lose? Did they win? What happened? And then she sees me crying, and she's like, I'm like, they won. And so like, I got to see them win, and then I was fortunate enough to be teammates with one of the guys that played on that team that won it for a couple of years, Rafa Baca.
Yeah.
So that was a very, very cool experience that I got to have.
It's cool when you have that full circle moment. Like,
it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely like starstruck when I met him.
Yeah.
And like I tried so hard to be cool and just like just play it off, but like no, I was genuinely.
What up, man?
Yeah,
Whatever.
What's up? Whatever. But I was genuinely like, I was so nervous when I met him for the first time, but he's such a nice guy, super humble, like very team and family oriented. So he was great to meet.
That's sick. Awesome. All right. Well, let's back up then. Let's go all the way back. So you said born in Mexico City. How long did you live there before you moved?
Lived in Mexico City for about 3.5 years. So not very long. I have just a handful of memories in Mexico, but I moved to the Bay Area, California, specifically San Leandro. It was in May of 2001, so I turned 4 in the United States, and then resided there all the way up to college.
Yeah. Okay. And then what's your family situation looking like? Brothers, sisters, all that kind of stuff?
I have 2 sisters, 1 brother. I'm the baby of the family by a lot. My 2 oldest siblings are, I want to say, both on average they're both 20 years older than me, and then my sister that's closest to me is 13 years older than me. So kind of grew up like an only child in a sense, because I was like the youngest by a mile. But yeah, they're all back home in California.
Yeah, all Bay Area.
Yeah, relatively, like maybe some are like 45 minutes away, an hour away, but all within drivable distance.
Yeah. So you're the far one.
I'm the far one, but I've always been the far one. Like college, I moved away very early. So
yeah, that's usually what football does. Is you end up always being that guy that misses a lot, and then you're usually the furthest away from most people.
Yeah,
but it's part of it. And then how often do you go back to Mexico City?
I got to go back for the first time in the off season of 2022. So I moved away, and I got to go back for the first time in 22 years, ever since I moved. So
yeah,
I've only been back once.
How was that going back?
It was crazy because like I said, I remember a handful of things, but a couple of them, one of the most memorable ones is playing street soccer. Like playing, I very vividly remember you get 2 bricks, you stand them up. And I was goalie playing with like kids like 3 times my age. I was like 3 years old, and I loved it. And funny enough, I was a goalie already, and I would just play on the street, have fun with them. And that was one of my earliest memories. And I still remember bits and pieces of the house in which I grew up. So going back, we still had that house. So going there and just kind of seeing the house and kind of brought some memories back. So it was kind of like very crazy experience, but I was very grateful to be able to go back and still see the house where my siblings grew up. My dad built, like...
He built it?
My dad built that house, yeah.
That's
like,
crazy.
He moved away from... my dad's the oldest of 8 siblings. So he moved away from the town where they were in to Mexico City. Little by little started bringing them over to where he was at. But he literally brick by brick built that house, and it was our family house. And I got to go back to it, so it was very cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, that's pretty insane. How was it moving from that to the Bay Area? I know you were super young, but like, do you remember the transition at all? Do you remember trying to, like, how was your English? I mean, I'm guessing your Spanish wasn't even probably that good back at that age.
Well, Spanish it's my first language, and it's what I'm most comfortable speaking.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you there.
So, like, if I have the chance to speak Spanish, I'm speaking Spanish. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've noticed it by now. When I have a chance to speak with Yesiel or Seba or Carlos, I'm speaking Spanish. And it's just naturally what I'm comfortable in. So I don't really remember much of my move here other than a couple plane rides. And then next thing you know, I feel like I just woke up and I was in the Bay Area. But I was in I was in bilingual classes all the way up till 3rd grade. My San Leandro was very diverse. So my class was a lot of people of Hispanic descent. And I was with that same group all the way till 3rd grade. And we had bilingual classes, so I got to pick up. And it wasn't until 4th grade that it transitioned to like solely English. And then from then on, obviously, I got to just go to school regularly, full English, you know, like English second language after a little bit, obviously. But and I'm fluent now, so that's great. I would hope so. Every here and there, some stuff that still throws me off, but for the most part, I'm pretty fluent.
Yeah. And were you still playing as much football? Because I know obviously in Mexico, like you said, you're playing in the streets, and everybody there, it's like playing it constantly. There's not too many other sports that really had that much focus. Here, obviously, it's completely different. Did you play any other sports? Was it just football?
No,
what did that look like?
It was just football. I mean,
and was it organized, or was it like pickup games, or how did it start?
A little bit of both. Like I said, my specific classes were very like Hispanic, very diverse. So a lot of them shared the same culture that I did, and the same like love for the game. So we would play like lunch, recess, like we'd go and play out in the grass. So it was very like pickup-y. But I would join a couple of organized teams here and there. I didn't really play like proper competitive organized all the way till like, I would say seriously, probably like freshman year of high school, sophomore year of high school. So I was just kind of like bouncing around teams, just kind of playing to play.
Like club? Or
yeah,
was
like
it...
club, rec, a little bit of both.
Yeah, like right in that in-between
stage.
whatever
was going to get me into like just playing. And honestly, I just did it for the fun of it. And it wasn't until like a little bit later that like people started telling me and noticing that I was good. And
I mean, always goalkeeper?
No, actually, I bits and times where like I'd play forward. My first organized team would have been, I think, in 3rd grade. I wanted to be goalie, but they had me in forward, and I would have to score a couple goals in order for me to go and play in goal. So I'd score 2-3 goals. I'm like, okay, can I go play goalie now? And they're like, okay, fine, you can go. But I, for some reason, always liked goalie more than other positions.
Crazy.
Like I've had instances where I've played, even in college on the field.
Yeah.
In like actual competitive games. And I do well. Like, I think I hold my own. But after a little bit, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go back to my position. This is not for me.
I had a moment today where I was looking over at you guys, like we were doing some drill or something, and it was in the downtime and water break, and I look over and I just see it was like Emmy had the little like, I don't know, 2 poles and like tape or something.
Yeah, with like the rope in the middle.
Yeah, the rope in the middle. I was looking, I'm like, what are they doing? Also, he just toe pokes it right at your face.
Yeah.
And I was like, what part of that is enjoyable? I get one of those, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
I think it was when we went to Kentucky for preseason when we were at Lexington.
Yeah.
And we had like the bow nets, and he's like, okay, here's what we're gonna go. You're gonna go on your knees, hands out, and I'm just gonna blast the ball at you, and you got a full spread. Like this guy was like hitting the ball as hard as he possibly could, and it was genuinely scary. Like during the breaks, I look over at Carlos, I'm like, yo, this is like actually like not enjoyable. Like, why do we do this? And it was cold. It was not a fun time. But yeah, I mean, I always gravitated back towards it. And
good for you. I'm glad somebody likes
someone
it.
had to do it.
Goalkeepers always have a wire loose in their brains.
There's always
though.
something wrong with us. You got to figure out what.
There's something. We actually have decently normal goalkeepers.
I want to say we have
part.
some of the most normal goalkeepers in our locker room.
Yeah, like there's obviously you, Carlos, and Moneyman all have something going on in your guys' brain that's a little bit different. But we definitely have the most normal goalkeepers, I think.
No, 100%.
Out of most teams.
Great locker room, great keeper room.
But it's good. I think that's smart though. As a kid, I mean, whether you're forced to or not, to get some time on the field, because you know how important it is to be able nowadays, especially how much you're literally building out now in very tight, very extreme situations where you're being pressed, and if you're not comfortable playing, passing, first touch, you get eaten alive.
Yeah, and it shows. I mean, now when I used to coach under 9 team, you rotate the goalies specifically because just like you want everyone on the field to be able to build that like base of technical ability with their feet, because obviously the game's changing. Everyone needs to be like competent with their feet, including the goalkeeper. So to have that base for everyone, I think it's great that everyone has either playing on the field, futsal, indoor soccer, whatever it is, where they can get extra touches with their feet. I think it's great.
And then so growing up from like elementary school, middle school, like you said, you were playing a lot, but it wasn't 100% fully like serious to the point of where you're full year-round club, like super organized. At that point, were you thinking like, I want to be a pro footballer? Were you thinking I want to be something else, but you're really not kind of thinking about it at all, and it's kind of for fun, and you're just living as a kid? What was going through your mind?
The thing is, I always wanted to be a pro footballer since I was a kid. Like that was my end goal. But I didn't really have a reference of who to follow, what to do. We were obviously my family. We all came to the United States around the same time, so we don't know what to do. Obviously, in Mexico, you would start playing, and then from there, maybe you'd get put into one of like the academies for the professional teams there, and then you build through the age groups, and then make your debut to the first team or whatever it may be, right? But there's like a proper pathway in Mexico. Whereas here, we move here, everything's new. We kind of don't know what to expect, what to do. So we're just kind of playing to play, and I was just kind of, that's my goal. How am I going to do it? I really don't know at the moment. All I know is I want to keep playing. So like middle school, it was, I'd play with my middle school team, which was co-ed. But it was a lot of fun, and we were a really good team. We all got along well.
That's great. Co-ed soccer
in middle school.
Yeah.
That was great. It was like I said, the group that we were with, a lot of us played together in elementary school, like during recess, and we all kind of knew each other. To this day, like I'm friends with a lot of those people. Whenever I go home, we'll like have a chat, go play soccer, whatever it is. So we were very close, and it was very fun. And like it was competitive, but most of it was just like playing with your friends and having fun.
So like 12 years old, you're playing co-ed soccer.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
And I was playing in goal.
I can't even, I think the latest I played co-ed soccer was probably age 5.
Like it was a rule where you had to have, I think, at least 5 girls on the field.
Yeah.
To be able to field like a team in that league, because they were trying to make it. I think now they might have gone where they have a boys and girls team in the middle school, but we were just strictly co-ed, and I mean, luckily with the girls that we had, they were really good.
Yeah.
So that helped us a lot, and like I said, we were all friends with each other like since kindergarten. So we were all close, and it was just fun. That's but it's crazy.
It is. Yeah. Because I mean, it is really rare. I mean, to be playing like that kind of level unorganized up until that age. Because like I know that age, I think 10, 11, 12 is when that split happens a lot, where people that are serious about it start splitting. And you said, you started making that way, but still, even if it was a few years late than a lot of players.
It was definitely later than most players. I mean, I started witnessing like players start getting recruited to go play in Mexico and go do things like that. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. But like, I never kind of realized that there was a difference in levels. Like I knew there was, but I just never like grasped it. So I was just like, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Did you have friends that were playing it like in academies, or how was the academy system in the Bay Area at that time?
At the time, there wasn't really much. I mean, you had the Quakes, but I didn't really know much.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't really know much about anything. So I was just kind of going off of word of mouth from my friends that kind of played a bit more. And they would go to a team and they'd kind of be like, hey, you want to come guest play? Or, hey, we need a goalie. Hey, okay, I'll go. And so little by little, I started like building a network of people that knew who I was, and ended up on teams that were very competitive. My under 16 team, which is at the point like a year after I had gotten very serious. We were number 1 team in the nation for a little bit. A couple of us play professionally. Some of us still do in the league. Jesus Enriquez, Augustine Williams. So we've played growing up together.
Wow.
And on the same team, and then obviously now get to play against each other or with each other in the USL. So it's pretty cool, but it took a little bit for me to get to the point where like I got brought to those teams.
Yeah. It is funny how people have very different paths of like when, not that you peak, but like when, like you have some guys that will from U11, they're in an academy system, and then they go academy straight to the pros at 18, or, you know, top D1 school or something, and then straight to the pros. And it's like, oh yeah, this guy was set up to go to be a pro. And you have other people like yourself that is very different at 12. You're not looking at this guy in the co-ed team in middle school, no offense, thinking like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be a pro. Like I was similar to that. Like you said, like my parents, obviously we were American and a little bit Mexican, but like obviously my dad was American football, basketball, baseball, like from Wyoming, like cowboy, like this is America. He didn't know what soccer was.
Of course.
And then so the way we found out through everything was just through word of mouth of people. Like I remember I came home from school one day and my mom picked me up and she's like, hey, I was just talking to like Nathan and he said that he's going to go to a club soccer tryout today. Have you heard of that? Do you know what that is? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, he's going. Do you want to just go in and go with him and try out? And I was like, yeah, I like soccer. And that was like how I got my introduction into club soccer.
Wow.
Was like literally from the bus stop. I was like, yeah, I'll go with him instead of going home and having a snack. But like similar to the fact of like, I had no idea how it worked. Yeah. And that was when I was at 11, I stumbled into it. Like if my mom didn't have that conversation, you know, who knows where I'd be. Yeah. Which is kind of crazy to think about.
No, I mean, like I said, I played at like rec leagues, and then I played like one competitive league for a little bit. And then, like I said, it was mainly just rec leagues. And then how did it happen? My friend was playing on a specific team. They were a year up, but they were a bit more competitive at this point. And they're like, hey, like we need a goalie. I recommended you. Do you want to come out? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I went. Things went well. Like, and then we started playing. We started winning tournaments. And then from this team, I ended up going up to another team, and then that was actually my age group. And then from there, I was there for like 2 months, and then like one of the better teams at that age group picked me up, which is the team that I was with. And I stuck it out with them. Like I said, we were fortunate enough to win Dallas Cup. So we were, huge. It was a really good team that we had put together. And then due to the success and just how well ran they were, they became an academy. This is back when it was DA.
What's it called?
Juventus.
Okay.
Juventus out of Redwood City. So this is back before it was obviously MLS Next. We went into an academy system. So we split our age groups. We were 97, 98s. So then they split us. So it was 97, 96s, and then 98s, 99s. So the core group got split into two. So we were in two different academies, which kind of sucked. But at the same time, like it was another trial process. It was like another where you have to go improve yourself within like the team where you were already at. And now at that point, I'm playing teams like Galaxy, Quakes, Portland Timbers, like all these like proper academies. And even then, like I'm very raw, like technically, and like just knowledge of the game. I'm just playing from what I see, watching soccer every week, and I'm just going out and having fun, right? And I never really like truly noticed like, oh my God, like this is insanely different. Like I was doing really well, and I was getting like recruited to go to colleges, and like same time, I didn't know what any of that meant. I was like, okay, cool. I don't know what that means. So yeah, I mean, it was until then that I really got into like the thick of it, but it took a while. Like I said, I was just bouncing around, having fun, just playing wherever I could, and didn't realize whether it was a serious team or not. I was just happy to play.
There's something to be said about that, where it's like you just want to play, you like playing, and you have the ambition to like play at a higher level. And it's like you like you said, you have that network of friends. They're like, hey, come guest play with us, come do this. A lot of players are just like, no, I'm fine. Or a lot of players are just like either intimidated by it, don't want to do it, don't want to do extra work or all that. But like once you go there and then you have the confidence to play and you prove yourself there, it's just like those baby steps of working your way up. And it's cool to see players that have no knowledge of it coming in, you know, from a different country, and then still have the ability to rise up to the ranks just based off your raw talent and ability to get out there and play.
I mean, one of the things that kind of affected a lot of my like journey would be the fact that I was undocumented for the majority of my youth, up till I was in high school. So a lot of the times I'd be playing these clubs once I started getting really competitive, and I'd see them start sending people out for trials in Mexico and these tournaments in other states and stuff. And my family at the time was maybe fearful of even just out-of-state tournaments because we wouldn't know what would happen, right? And then obviously if I were to go a trial in Mexico, which I would cry because I couldn't go, and I see my friends do it. I could go, sure, but like I couldn't come back. So that was something that kind of like, okay, well, whatever. And like I would push it to the side, just keep playing, like having fun. But it wasn't really something that I kind of seriously grasped until I realized that I kind of needed some sort of document to be able to go to college. So at the time I didn't even know if college was a possibility or not, which was till like maybe my sophomore year when I said I got DACA, which is Deferred Action for Dreamers. And under that, I was finally, okay, now I can genuinely start thinking about college. But it took a while, and like I said, that affected it drastically. Yeah,
I bet. But that is smart to get on top of that, like sophomore year, because that's right when the recruiting process was starting and everything.
I mean, I had to hit a certain age to be in order to qualify for it. So once I hit that, then I just was really just playing high school soccer. And like with teams here and there. And then, like I said, I didn't know anything about the recruiting process. My high school coach helped me. He's like, okay, you have to do this portal thing, like all this stuff. I'm like, I don't know what any of this means, but okay.
I love that too. There's always, or not always, but 95% of the time I talk to a player, there's somebody like that is a coach that just goes above and beyond and helps a player. Just like Jesse had a really cool story of some guy who just every single morning picked up these pros, or ex-pros, semi-pros, college kids with his car, picked up random guys, went to the field and organized training sessions in off season. And like to keep these guys fit, like helped them talk to agents and stuff. Just these guys that just for the love of the game, the love of seeing the players go on higher levels, just help players out, which is so cool. And that coach, it sounds like helping you with the portal, helping you probably, I don't know, highlight video CV. I don't know if like SATs or what. But
I mean, he helped me with all of that. I mean, I got on high school varsity as a freshman, but honestly, I was pretty bad compared to the levels we were playing, and I quickly like started seeing it. Like, okay, just keep going. And then little by little, he's like, hey, like you got to be on top of this, top of that. I think my sophomore year and going into it, you need obviously a 2.0 to be able to play.
How were your grades?
And that sophomore year, I had an exact 2.0. And he was livid. And I didn't understand it. I was like, why are you so mad, dude? Like, I got the grades to play. And it was because he saw beyond for me. He was like, you need this for college, blah, blah, blah. I think I ended up with like low 3.0 or something. Just because I wasn't a fan of homework, to be honest. I loved all the math classes, but like the English and the history, wasn't a fan of it. So it averaged out to about a 3.0. But he was like, no, you need this, you need that. And then he started connecting me with people. He's like, you got to think about going out of state, doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever you say. Like, I was just ready to go. And then ultimately he ended up helping me. And I was looking into, at first it was a NAIA in Kentucky called Lindsey Wilson. And then wasn't able to go to that. They got snowed out, couldn't go on my visit, all these things. And then through also Academy and him, I ended up being put into a community college in Iowa. And like I said, knew nothing about it. Like,
did you know where Iowa was on a map?
I knew where it was.
Be honest.
I knew where it was. I was pretty good with my geography, so I knew where it was. But I had never been. I had never, like, none of that. One of my close friends had committed there, and he went on a visit. and he was like, yeah, I'm signing here. So like they told me that, hey, like we think, because they wanted me to go to a college in Texas. The guy that was in Kentucky moved, and he's like, hey, you should come here instead. I spoke to them. I was like, okay, I'm just kind of following whatever you guys are telling me. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, so we have a goalie this year, whatever. He's like, go do a year with your friend. He knew my friend was going to that college. He's like, go do a year with your friend at that college, because they had connections, and then we'll talk to you after that. I was like, okay. So I started talking to those coaches, and they were like, yeah, so what is it going to take for you to come here, blah, blah. I was like, oh, I was like, I have my flight already. What do you? And you're like, oh, that was easy. Okay. Here we go. And so,
worst negotiator.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
And I was like on minimal scholarship money, obviously.
Yeah.
Like
I could tell from your negotiating skills.
I didn't know anything. Like they sent me a paper.
What number do you need? Oh, I'm already there, man. I thought.
Yeah, no, they were like, this is great.
Yeah.
And so they sent me a paper, and they had like loans number for loans and like scholarship and fast flight and all these things, and I didn't understand any of it. I just saw at the bottom, he's like, out of pocket like $400. We're like, oh, this is amazing, right? Obviously you get there and then you learn what loans are. I learned that my fast food didn't qualify out of state because I was a dreamer, so then $7,500 out of your pocket.
Yeah.
So very quickly it became a thing of like, okay, how is it gonna work?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of money. And I was lucky that my family, I don't know how, to be honest, but they're like, nope, you're staying out there. Because it's a very real possibility. I was like, well, I might just have to leave.
Yeah.
Can't afford it. And my family's like, no. Like I said, I don't know how they did it, but they came together like, look, you're staying over there.
That's awesome.
And so they made it happen for me. And I was able to get out of there in a year and a half, graduated with an associate's, transferred on to the same school in Texas, and then went on to finish my schooling there with a lot better scholarship. So it was much less of a burden on them.
Yeah. You said for a year and a half you're at the school in Iowa. How was that, one, being away from your family, two, living in kind of Iowa, which is probably very different than the Bay Area, and three, how was the team and how did you play?
So it was obviously a cool experience going away from home. I was with a very close friend. And just kind of like first time really out on our own. So that was a learning curve for sure, in the sense of like all the freedom, right? It could be a little bit overwhelming, like no one to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Like, so it's dangerous in a way, but it was, obviously we were there for the soccer. So we had a decent balance of things. My hardest thing, to be honest, was being on time. I was a heavy sleeper, and we had there were suites, so every person had their own room within the suite, and there was like a common area. So it was 4 people to a suite. Everyone had their own room, 2 bathrooms, a common area.
Okay.
But everyone had their own door, obviously, like, and people would just leave. Trains were like, I can't remember the exact time, but I know it was early. I had to be like, you had to be in the locker at like 6 a.m. for like training at like 7 or 7:30. It was hard.
Yeah.
And like to this day, like sometimes I have trouble falling asleep, and there was something that I had to work on. And obviously can't really be late here, so I fixed it. Other than one instance, but that's a different story. And so like, but over there it was, man, I was like oversleeping. I was playing okay. I didn't play much my first year because they had a sophomore who went on to play in Division I. But I played a couple games, and when I did, I played okay. It was very much just kind of learning everything of like being in college, the higher level. But mainly it was just that, like the responsibility of the punctuality, like doing what you're supposed to do, all these things. It got to the point where it was like, look, dude, like if you miss one more time, like due to like you being late, like you got to find a new school. So it was very dire. And
damn.
It was bad. It was bad because like I would go. There was times where like I'd see my phone because I was still awake, and it was like 2 a.m. And I was like, well, now I can't go to sleep. If I go to sleep, I'm not waking up. So I'd pull all-nighters to go to training, and then go to training and come back and I fall asleep, and I wake up at like 7 p.m. And then it became a vicious cycle of me not being able to sleep at night and just having to stay up all night, go to training, come back, sleep. Mind you, we had classes. So
well, I mean, you couldn't just put your phone like on the opposite side of the room on loud. Like that didn't get you.
It was hard. It was hard, man. because then I would usually fall asleep on my phone. It was this whole thing. I improved drastically.
Yeah,
from
I
that,
mean that's good because I don't view you as not punctual on the team. There's guys that kind of like you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna always cut it close, but not
the thing
you.
is like it was a process. Like I said,
but that's a big point of college is to learn skills like that, cooking for yourself, living on your own, responsibilities like that.
Yeah, so
that's just as much as
but so that was great. Like obviously it was very much a learning curve and kind of for the first time. I wish I knew a bit more then, but like seeing that training with the team isn't enough.
Yeah,
that was like my first time really. I didn't really comprehend it till after I was done with college, or at least with that college specifically. But it wasn't until after that I realized I was like, what you do with the team is not enough.
Yeah.
Because obviously at that point, I was like set on going pro. The whole reason for me going to Iowa in the middle of nowhere, respectfully, was to go pro. Right? I'm in Council Bluffs, Iowa, which is like 15 minutes from Omaha. So living there wasn't the worst situation because the campus. So Iowa Western is it's a really good junior college. Like they have insane facilities. Most of their sports are like top 10 in the nation. Like for whatever it is, football, soccer, whatever it is, they're like nationally ranked. So a lot of people they have there are international. They bring in international students or people from out of state or whatever. So you have a community within the campus, and that's great. And then you have a couple people who have a car, and then you go to Walmart, buy whatever you kind of need. So honestly, it wasn't like people say Iowa, and I was like, yeah, but realistically, it wasn't really Iowa for me, right? Like, I look back and I was like, man, it was amazing because you spent all that time with your friends in the suites, in the dorms. You built such great relationships. Living there was amazing. But like I said,
I went to school in Davis, man.
So similar. I literally had corn out my window.
Out of my dorms, right outside was the cows, and it would suck because the whole time the wind would blow and you just smell the manure and the cows.
I'm sure.
And like it was called Tercero, and everybody made fun of Tercero because it just smelled like cow shit the entire time. But same thing. It didn't matter to me because the team was great. Yeah. The campus was cool. I love my team. I love the, like you said, the community of athletes or sororities and fraternities and stuff. I absolutely loved it. It was probably the most fun 4 years of my life.
Yeah, college by far is just great because you're just going and playing. You're just having fun. Obviously you start seeing like there's levels within the college, but like you're really just having a good time, man. Like genuinely, we're having games. We're Bussington games in Iowa, and we're coming back at like 1 a.m. and then we get back and then we go to the dorms and just have fun for the rest of the night because we're off the next day. And just stay up playing video games, playing FIFA, like hanging out together, whatever it is. It was just fun. Yeah. And then you miss it.
What were the things that you worked on for the individual training that you said you noticed that you need to do more of?
I eventually learned that I cannot drive a ball with my feet, like from a goal kick. My side volley was like something like I kind of always had like relatively decent just because
you're Mexican. You got that in your blood, man.
You watch
the Mexicans invented the side volley.
Like you watch Mexican goalkeepers and you see boom, right? So like that was something I kind of like watched and learned, and then I kind of was okay at it.
That's huge. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Seeing play like your idols or the stuff that you watch or Cruz or whoever, the games that you're watching, and then you see those goalkeepers every single time whip out the side volley. As a player, you automatically want to work on those things. And so it's like it almost creates this culture of like, you watching a ton of Liga MX game, and it's like you're like, oh, I'm going to play like these goalkeepers. And then it kind of creates the style of play within itself.
And I feel like that's kind of, because I told you I wasn't getting like crazy amounts of coaching or work as a kid. I think what helped me was how much I watched soccer. Because I was watching soccer genuinely from like back home would be Liga MX was like from 3 p.m. to like 9:30 p.m. And then a little bit of soccer of like Premier League in the mornings or whatever whenever I could, but it was just soccer all the time. And I'd go into school and I'd like play, think about things that I saw, like how they would go about situations. So like I think that was probably the best thing that kind of helped me like stay kind of on course to maintain level. But I mean that was kind of like I said, I didn't really have like proper coaching growing up. So I got to college and I was like really realizing from the other goalkeeper that I cannot like ping a ball. Like if I wanted to drive it like 40 yards, I was hitting it like a shot. I didn't know how to have the technique to like ping it. And it wasn't until like at that point I was like, okay, there's stuff I got to work on. And from there, it was like, okay, working out in the snow in the spring, like going out, grabbing a bag of balls and just hitting long balls, like trying to improve my technique. And it was kind of then when I started processing, okay, I'm missing stuff in training. I have to go work on it outside of training.
Yeah. And it's important to challenge yourself with, as you go up and up and up, you start seeing other goalkeepers or other players that can do that easily. Yeah. And you're like, oh, like, because you don't realize that beforehand. But then you're like, wow, he can do the side volley, I can do the side volley. We can both save shots, but he then can also drive a ball like that. Yeah. And I can't do that.
And he's also doing it like every time. Whereas I might get one good one out of like 4 or something like that.
So originally you're like, that's decent. And then you see someone do that 9 out of 10 times. You're like, I can do that 4 out of 10 times. And then you
realize you're like,
yeah. Because I thought I was technical and all that stuff. And I went to college. Yeah. And I'm like, oh no. I'm not.
I'm so far behind.
I'm just completely relied on my athleticism, my work rate, and my tactical idea. That's all I did in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. That's a huge, huge thing. So you develop your game both individually. It's super important to see that. But a lot of players also see that and then never actually spend the time to work on it. So it's good that you spent the time to work on it in the off seasons, in the spring, in the snow, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of had no choice. If that was really what I was there for, like, I had to make it happen one way or another. So I was like, okay, like try to get extra work.
And then so after your sophomore season, did you transfer immediately over to the college in Texas?
Kind of. So I committed to them. I graduated, like I said, in 3 semesters.
Yeah.
So that gave me a free semester. And they wanted me over there right away, but I was like, I kind of want a little break, which in retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have taken that little break. But it was kind of cool because I got to go home, live at home for a couple months, like work over there, train over there. And then I got to go straight into my NPSL season in Arkansas. So I played for Little Rock Rangers.
How did you find that? Was it your college coach that connected you? Okay.
Yeah, so they were connected there as well. So a couple of us from my JUCO went and go play at Little Rock. And so we did that for 2 years. So I took my spring off and it gave me time to prepare and go straight into the NPSL season. Which right after that, I went home for like maybe a week and then I went straight to Texas. So
how was the setup with the NPSL team? Did you have housing? Did you have...
So we had you know what? It was like a hotel, but it was like the hotels with like the suites.
Yeah.
So you had your kitchen. Yeah. It was 4 to a suite. You had your kitchen. You had bathroom, obviously, like 2 beds in each room, and you would each have a bed and 2 and 2. And then we would literally across from the stadium where they would play. So we'd walk over to train, come back, eat, whatever, and then we would coach for extra money or whatever we needed to do. But it was right across the street. Housing was great. The owner there, Jonathan, amazing person. Just if we needed help with something, he's like, hey, well, like, let me set you up with some work, or let me see what I can do for you, whatnot. And just honestly, I've been lucky with the people that I've run into. They've done wonders to help me, like whether it's summer season, off seasons, whatever it is. Like there's always been great people around me.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's crucial. It's like that was one mistake I kind of did when I was leaving college. Is for a little bit, not long. It was only like a couple weeks, but I'm like, oh no, I'm just gonna try to do this myself because I was like, I don't know why. It was almost like a pride thing. And then I was like, I started reaching out. I'm like, why am I? Then I kind of had the epiphany of like, why am I not? Like, I want to be a pro. Why am I not asking my coaches, college coaches, all these people for help?
Yeah.
And I did it, and all of a sudden, way more doors opened at the professional level. And then, so how was that transition into, what was the college in Texas called?
Texas A&M International.
That's
so
it,
it's like
Texas
right
A&M.
Right on the border in Laredo. So I fit in very well.
Passed through Laredo, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's right on the border, so I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I later learned that my wife, when she would take road trips to Mexico, they would drive through Laredo, and I was like, that's weird.
Wonder if you guys passed.
I know, maybe because she would go in the summer times, I'm assuming, which is when I was there.
Yeah.
Like I said, then I was there playing for Laredo Heat, which is another great USL2 organization.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was a great place. Like you said, that's Hispanic demographic there is very high. So honestly, I was speaking more Spanish than English, which for me was great. Like I loved it. The people there were great. I knew some of them already from playing in Little Rock with them. So I played with Little Rock and them, then played college with them. And then just the coach I knew from even just high school because we had spoken a couple times. So I ended up transferring there, and it was great. It was very hot. Like very hot. We were training at 1 p.m. and like 110-degree weather and something abysmal.
Yeah.
So it was hard, but it was really good. I fit in with the group right away, and it was just a lot of fun for 2.5 years.
That's awesome. What were the differences between, because this was this D2?
Yeah.
What did you find the differences between junior college and D2 were?
To be honest, for my situation, I didn't think differences were too much.
Yeah.
Just because the Division I or the junior college where I was at was like a high level junior college, and the Division II college where I was at wasn't like low level or anything at all. But it wasn't as big of a transition maybe as I was expecting. Maybe because I did as much summer leagues as I did, helped me like prepare, and I kind of already knew people at both places, so that kind of helped bridge the gap a little bit. So it wasn't. I didn't find it to be like a crazy difference.
That's where I tell kids a lot with the collegiate system, or any system, honestly, like even USL to MLS to USL League 1 to USL League 2, is it's like a blur between the levels. Like you get some of the bottom teams to the top teams. Sometimes it's like the top teams at the lower level are better than the bottom teams at the higher level. And it's like if you're at a top JUCO, you're gonna blend. It's gonna blend very seamlessly into like some D3, D2, even some D1 schools as well. And it's like, and then kids get really hung up on the name of like the bragging rights of stuff. And I'm like, go where you're wanted. If you have a coach that wants you and it's decent, it's not, and like obviously if you have a D1 scholarship compared to a NAIA scholarship, like maybe you do that. But even then, like if I would go where you're really, really wanted, you can see yourself being happy there. Yeah. That's important.
Yeah. Like I said, I think not knowing about the different options going through high school kind of hurt me because I had an offer at San Jose State. Yeah. So Division I, right? But they wanted me to redshirt my freshman year, which I didn't know what that meant, but it sounded like, oh yeah, you're not playing. I'm like, no, what? Yeah. Obviously, like financially, it would have been a lot harder too. So I ended up not doing that. And then, so like I said, this coach at Texas sent me to the junior college. After my first semester, my first season there, we made it to nationals and we lost in the group stages of nationals. And then he's like, hey, like, we need you here now. Like, after my first semester, he's like, you got to transfer now. Like, our goalie's hurt, whatever, we need a goalie. And I was like, I can go D1. I'm seeing guys here go D1. I can go D1. Like, this is a great platform for me to do it. And so I was like, I'm going to stay. They're like, okay. And then he let me stay. I played my second year. Same thing. We lost in quarterfinals and PKs, nationals. And then next thing you know, we're having dinner with the team after. And then they're like, hey, this coach from the college is waiting for you in the lobby. And I go into the coach, but he doesn't remember me. And he's like, hey, so like, I'm from the school, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, we've spoken like 2 other times. He's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, yeah, so look, we want you here. And I'm like, and he's like, look over the offer. And at that moment, I was like, I'm going, dude. Like, I have no other options. Like, like obviously you guys really want me. Like, I want to go as well. And he's like, take your time. And I was like, dude, I can sign right now. Like, let's go. I'm clearly a poor negotiator. Let's just go. So ended up going there. Like I said, the coaches really wanted me there. And it ended up being a great decision. Yeah, that's good. I think it is important. I think a lot of players stumble in that because you kind of have that instinct when a coach really wants you. You kind of tend to go that way anyway, but it's important to see. Yeah, but not. I think, like I said, you said people get hung up on like the D1 and all this stuff, right? When it's like there's so many different routes, and like I think a lot of people that I've spoken to, had the chance to speak to about like my pathway. Like they get shocked to the fact that I went JUCO D2 pro. Yeah, they're like, "What? It doesn't usually work." I'm like, "No, but like I feel like if you're meant to be a professional, you're going to be a professional. Yeah. If you have the mindset, you work that hard, And honestly, if looking back on it, I didn't think this way in high school, but like looking back on it, if I had D2 schools that were top 10, 15 in the country compared to even UC Davis maybe that was like at the time I signed we were like 60th in D1. I think it's way more important to be consistently making the NC2A tournament at the D2 level. I think that gives you more exposure sometimes than 50 and down at the NCAA D1 level. Yeah, like I learned through my division. We had 2 very good schools. One specifically, Midwestern State. They're like a top D2 program, like top 10 nation consistently, right? And then we would play them often, and they'd always beat us. And then you start kind of seeing like there's really good schools at the D2 level.
Yeah.
And then you have them. You had obviously a bunch of schools in California that are really good at Cal State LA, Cal Poly Pomona, that I knew nothing about. I'm like, I have these schools that are amazing at the footballing level, like 6 hours from my house.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about them. I ended up going to Iowa and Texas, which obviously was great for me. But it's like, if I would have known that there was like really good schools at D2 level that even rival some of like the lower middle D1 schools, like I would have maybe gone about my stuff a different way.
Yeah.
But I was locked in on wanting to go D1, obviously, and it ended up not working out that way, and I went D2. But like I was so hung up on it that like when I looked at when I sent emails to schools, I sent specifically only to D1 schools.
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of like, you can come walk on.
Yeah.
We have a spot for you, but no scholarship, like all these kind of things. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go where I'm going to get where I'm wanted and I have financial help.
Yeah. You got to look at all the variables, but I think where you're wanted, where you feel like you can have an instant impact on the team, where obviously financially it works. And then if you can get a team that's, going to be making the tournament, whatever level, if you hit all those boxes, go.
Yeah.
So then you spent 2 seasons there in Laredo. How did you guys do? How'd it go?
My first year was great. I mean, we lost in the semifinals of our conference tournament, but I made all region, like all conference, all region that year. Like really good season for like the whole team. Actually, the team we knocked out in the quarterfinals in PKs was Emmy's team. He was coaching. Our goalkeeper coach was coaching a school in Permian Basin, and they go and play us in Laredo, and we beat them in PKs. So that was my first.
It's so funny.
My first interaction with him was beating him in the PK shootout in college.
And you had a couple good saves, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we had a couple good saves in the PK shootout, and it was a 0-0 game.
Yeah,
like, it was great, right? And we had a great first year, and then my second year I ended up playing, and honestly it was awful. Like it was a very like, I'm not sure to this day, I don't know exactly what it was, but my drop off from year 1 to year 2, like it was such a slump. And I couldn't really figure it out. Like I went from like in the preseason, like I was like all preseason team, like I was being like nationally like ones to watch, like all these kind of things. I don't know if that kind of stuff got to my head, which I think it maybe did a little bit, where I was like, like I got this, right? So maybe I slacked off in certain areas, or I don't know if it was like a lot of the seniors had gone. So now I was a senior and I was like looked upon to like be the guy, which I didn't mind it, but I don't know if like subconsciously it was a lot for me. So I ended up having like a very below average year in comparison to my first year. But I think that was really good in the sense of like starting to see like the mindset of things and like learning the hard way. Like, hey, you gotta like keep going, like no matter what. Like when things are going poor, you work harder. When things are going great, you work even harder. Like so all these things that it was very good like to learn from it, but it was a very drastic year 1 to year 2.
Yeah, I had a very similar junior to senior season. Same thing. Junior year, I kind of went out with the attitude I have now, where it's just have fun, just play my game, just be aggressive, just go. And like, wasn't even thinking. I didn't have goals for like how many goals I want to score. And this was back when I was a striker.
Wow.
Goals, how many score, assists. I was just like, I'm just going to like, just play my game and just play. And then once my junior year, I scored like 7 goals, 5 assists or something, which was decent. And then my junior year, all of a sudden I was like, that's when it clicked, because I was playing with the San Jose Earthquakes U23s. I was the leading goal scorer there. And I'm like, I can go be pro. If I have a good season, I could get drafted even. Yeah. So then I started thinking like, I need to have 10 goals. I need to do this. And I was like, I have to be a leader. I need this. And my whole, how I approached every day, I wasn't goofing off before, but it's like how I do it now. And so I didn't have the same thing. It was so serious. I was like, I need this. I would miss a shot or do something, and I would be pissed and all. I'm like, and then I like looking back at it now, I'm like, I completely changed because I was putting so much pressure on myself.
I think that's what it was as well. Because like I said, I was like save percentage, shutouts. Like I was killing it. Like I was top 10 in every category. I think from what my coaches said, like they're like, you could have gotten like, if we would have gone maybe a little further, could have gotten like an All-American shout. Yeah. So like I was like, oh man, I got this, right? And then we get into season, I was like, I need shutups, stats. Like that was like probably the first time in my life that I was like, okay, stats matter. Like I need this, I need that, I need this, and I didn't get anywhere near my my junior year like season stats. I think percentage dropped like 20%, 30% save percentage. Like it was drastic. It was genuinely drastic to the point where like my coach was bringing me, he's like, yo, like what's going on?
You good?
Like no, literally. And I was like, I don't know. Like I was making it like, or saves that I should have been making. It wasn't like I was committing like errors, right? But like some shots that you see them score, they're like, you were saving those easily last year. Like what's going on? So it was rough, but like I said, in retrospect, you learn a lot about yourself, and it makes you you improve.
Yeah, every player goes through moments like that where it's like I always imagine like a pendulum where it's like I'm swinging, like I was goofing off too much. I've had seasons where I've goofed off too much, and then I swing back and I have seasons where I'm like way too serious about it.
Impossible.
And it's like if you're way too serious, you care too much, you start criticizing.
I can't see you being serious. Like that.
You should see me my senior year. Like I obviously was still goofing off, making jokes and everything, but like how I went about the field was completely different to what I do now. But now I feel like I know for myself when I play the best, it's like I have to have a little bit of like I don't care.
Yeah.
And it's like a little bit of just goofing off a little bit, because that's where I feel like I do play the most free.
Has to be.
And I found that sweet spot. Other players, it's like, look, that might not work for every player, but I feel like at 32 now, I understand the player and the person I am, and I feel like I've kind of hit the sweet spot.
Yeah, I definitely think there has to be a little bit of a like care. Not I don't care, but like I don't care.
It is true. Yeah, it's true. Like, you have to have
it to a degree, and I think I resonate a lot with that as a goalkeeper. Like especially like how much we are asked to like build out or do stuff with our feet, right? And naturally mistakes are gonna happen, right? So it's kind of like, okay, mistakes happen, like keep going, right?
Yeah.
Not getting so caught up on like, oh, I messed the pass, or like I caused this turnover and they scored. It's like you kind of like got to find a spot where like you don't care and you can just kind of play through it. So I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. It's hard to get to find that sweet spot though a lot, because as easy as it is to say that, you just still don't want to lose. Yeah, but it is, you got to try to find the little mental tricks that work for you. So then after Loretto, what was the next step after that?
So after I was on with my playing eligibility, like I said, maybe I shouldn't have taken that semester off. It led me to have an extra fall semester to complete my credits to graduate. So I was a quote unquote graduate assistant for the men's and for the women's team. So I was doing men's and women's goalkeeper coaching, and a bit more as, to be honest, I was a bit more of a just assistant coach on the women's side. So I got like my first like dive in with like coaching. I had always done private sessions and all this stuff, but this was a bit more structured, more professional, obviously like preseason, which honestly as a coach is brutal, because I was doing 4 sessions a day. They were doing 2 a days. I was doing 4 a day. So it was awful, right? But I loved it. And I met 2 people who were the other assistants who worked on both sides of the program, who I'm still great friends with today. And to be honest, one of them I probably owe him my career, or like the transition in the mindset that I had, because I was still like, I was in college, I was playing, but I was very much enjoying myself, right? Like spring breaks, I was going out having fun, like taking trips, right? Like, oh yeah, soccer this, and then party here, and then this and that, right? So very much enjoying myself. And then this would have been the fall of 2019. We're training, doing all these things, and I'm doing extra work on top of, so whenever like training with the men's or the women's, whenever I could hop in and do something, I'd do it. If they took a little break, I'd do like some passing, some shooting. I was doing extra all the time. And one session in October, like the girls were coaching the women's team, they took a break. We're doing a couple things over here with the 2 other coaches. Next thing you know, my knee goes. Just hear like just a blatant pop of my knee. And it was like the simplest jump. Yeah. And it was like something you would never think would happen. And I would always say, oh, that won't happen to me, right? Sure enough, it happens to me. And like as soon as it happened, like I knew. Like there was instances where like you get hurt and someone's like, did you hear a pop? You're like, I don't know. And they're like, no, you would know. And I was like, okay, then I guess I didn't. And then like I'd never done anything to my knees at that point. And as soon as it happened, I was like, I just did my ACL. And the AT comes over and she starts checking my nail. Like, dude, like I did my ACL. So it was very rough from that point on. Just because, like, obviously it's a little different now. But ACL injuries, like maybe 10 years ago, were viewed as like career ending.
Yeah.
Right. So like I felt like, in a sense, like maybe my dream was gone. And so I was very down on myself for a little bit. And it just took a little bit of time to kind of rehab and do all that stuff. But it was hard. I graduated while recovering from my ACL. So I graduated with my bachelor's, went back for the holidays a little bit. And then I went back postgraduate to Texas just to finish my rehab. And that's kind of when COVID hit, which to me was kind of like a blessing in disguise. Yeah. Just because it allowed me to catch up, in a sense. I was made it hard because a lot of my rehab had to be done on my own. And so I was rehabbing an ACL injury, like through YouTube and watching stuff and just exercises that I knew. And I couldn't really go to a gym because everything was closed down. I moved back to California, moved back with my parents, and was just trying my best to like kind of come to, because it was a very dark time in my life. Just obviously injuries are never fun, but on top of that, you move back home, and to me, moving home felt like I had failed, especially after being away from home for so long. Like, you're always away, you come home, everyone's like, oh, how's it going? You know? And you're like, oh yeah, I got 2 more years, and then I'm gonna go pro, and then I got 1 more year, and then you come back after everything with an ACL tear, and they're like, what's next? I'm like,
yep.
You know, so it was hard.
I remember coming home from college, same thing, after I had dropped out, so I hadn't even graduated. And then I went on trials in a few different places, came back, failed, didn't get a contract from any of them. And then I was still at home and still training. And like everybody, I hated the question. So like, have you signed a pro contract yet? What's next? And telling people like, oh, I'm trying to be a pro, felt like I was delusional.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I swear I'm not delusional. But like, I almost didn't want to tell people about what was going on, or the fact that like I went to the Whitecaps too. I went to Iceland. I went to Czech Republic. I went to all these places. And then they told me no. Yeah. And it felt like, I swear I'm close. Even though I got told from 3 different pro teams, no. I'm like, you just don't get it. Like, I'm close.
No, it was hard. I was going on some trials, like pre-ACL, like I guess not even trials, just combines. And at this point, I had attracted a little bit of interest from, at the time, Austin Bold, RGV Toros, and they were really following me close my senior year, until they found out that I didn't have a green card, and that would count as an international player. So then that kind of like fell through, and then they kind of stopped keeping an eye on me, which sucked. But I was like, all right, whatever, right? But no, like going home, like I said, everyone's always asking you, because I was the only one from my school to like go out of state to keep playing soccer. So obviously everyone's like kind of following what you're doing and all that stuff. And obviously in the perfect world, you play 4 years, you draft, you're pro, right? It's obviously rarely ever works out that way.
Yeah, and even if it does work out, most of those players don't end up actually signing a contract.
They go USL Championship, League One, whatever it is. So I was like in big depression for a bit, right? Moving back home, not wanting to move back home. I was genuinely the last thing I wanted to do. Yeah, like I wanted to stay there. I had arranged where I was going to try to play with Laredo Heat again in the summer. They were going to help me out. And they were like, COVID hit, obviously. I had to move back home. I didn't want to. My roommate's like, dude, if the world's going to shut down, you should probably go do it at home.
Because you're even more depressed by yourself.
And I was like, I guess. And at this point, like in February, I had already kind of started training. So I started training again around like the 4-month mark, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. I was very overweight. Had to like learn to start counting my calories and doing all these stuff, because I was just used to like being relatively fit from just working out.
Looking like a torta.
Dude, I hit 230. I hit 230. Yeah, like for reference, I'm 190. Yeah. Right? I hit 230.
Yeah, that's up there.
And like it was to the point where I went to like this Laredo Heat.
Pictures of that? I gotta see.
I have some pictures. I'll show you.
Text me after this.
You won't recognize me. I've shown a couple people pictures, and they're like,
yeah,
no way. And so I went to like the Laredo Heat tryout just to like train and help them with their session, whatever. And one of my friends was like, dude, I got some Benadryl. I was like, what do you mean? Like, you look like you got stung by a bee. And I was like, I went home, I hit up someone like, yo, how do we do this? Like, I need to lose weight, right? And I went vegan for a couple months. So like drastic change, right? But I was eating like, I was starving. I was eating like under 1,000 calories a day. Nowhere near the protein goal that I needed to hit.
Yeah.
I was maybe probably eating like 110 grams of protein at best.
Which is just unhealthy.
Which is obviously you need a gram of protein for every pound, more or less.
Yeah.
So I eat about 180 grams of protein, give or take, on a day. I was eating close to half of that, 800 calories. So like I was starving. I lost a lot of weight. Don't get me wrong, but like a lot of it was also muscle weight that I was losing, which was hindering my knee rehabilitation and all these things, which obviously I later started learning from. But once I finally moved back, dealing with like the whole depression thing, it was just kind of working out as much as I could, fixing my knee. And I was lucky enough that I had a group of like 3, 4, or 5 guys who I ended up coaching with for many, many years in the off seasons, who we would get together and rondos, passing patterns, stuff like that. And they helped me throughout like COVID. We'd do training sessions every morning. And like I said, ultimately, COVID was where I caught up to people. Yeah. And kind of got myself back up to speed and just kind of put myself in a place where like once things started opening back up, that I was ready to kind of like go again, you know.
You're probably ahead of a lot of players, actually.
Maybe. Yeah. But it was also, like I said, I would have been cleared in April, which is when I moved back home. So like when things started like opening up again, like a distance would have been like June, July, which was 9-month mark of an ACL return. Yeah. So that was when I made my return at a combine. Played okay, but it was more just like getting it out from under me and just kind of getting back on the field. Yeah. And I remember I didn't know what to do back home for soccer because I hadn't played on the team back home since like high school. So I was like, who do I reach out to? I have no connections here. Yeah. I have 0 connections. And I, for the life of me, cannot think how this came about. Well, actually, that's a lie. I do know how. One of the guys that I was training with in my little group, they're like, hey, we have a scrimmage with this team against the Oakland Roots back when they were NISA. And I was like, they're like, we need a goalie. Do you want to play? I'm like, yeah, let's go. For reference, I used context to play. And I did not have any actual context. So I was like, you know what? I don't need them, whatever, right? We go play. When I tell you that I lost track of the score of the game.
Oh no.
It was probably the most humbling experience that I've had. Like footballing was like, it could have been 20-0, genuinely. Like I had a couple good saves, but I could not see, I could not make plays. Like it was awful, but I was like, this is what I want to do. Yeah. This is what I want to do. And that team, they're like, hey, so we need a goalie. We're training Tuesdays, Thursdays up here, blah, blah.
Is it like an NPSL, UPSL team or something?
NPSL, yeah.
NPSL, okay.
And the coach had played in Bolivia. He played Copa Sudamericana with a team from Bolivia, and he was like, he had played pro. And he's like, what are your goals? I was like, I want to play pro. And he's like, okay. And he, I showed him like my college videos and whatnot. He's like, okay, you have potential, blah, blah. And he was very like indirect style of play, building through the goalie, so it kind of helped me. And he was like, look, you put your trust in us and we'll help you. And I was like, I got nothing to lose, right? I'm putting all my trust on these guys blindly. So I do that. I train with them. And then they're helping me go to combines. Like they're sending me out to combines, actively putting me on radars of teams. But like the issue was ultimately always, I am an international player. And I played with them for close to 2 years. Contra Costa FC, based out of Walnut Creek in California, and I was with them. And while I was with them training, I was coaching, I was training on my own, I was working at an ice cream warehouse. I was doing anything you possibly could imagine. At this point, I had moved in with my now wife, so at this point we're living together, and so now she's kind of seeing everything, what it really is. She's not from a footballing house or background whatsoever, so she's kind of like seeing all this that I'm doing, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a professional soccer player. And she's like, okay, yeah, you know, which is a lot easier to tell her than versus when I tell her dad and I meet him for the first time. Like, so what do you do? I was like, so I coach kids. Like I play, at this point I was coaching also at St. Mary's University, Division I, which was really great experience.
Was that with Emmy there?
No.
Was Emmy coaching at St. Mary's? Where was he coaching?
He was coaching. Jesus, he coached everywhere. I don't think he coached at St. Mary's.
Kept on kicking him out after a year, huh? This is our goalkeeper coach for those that are listening.
I know he was at Cal Poly. I know he was at Bucknell. I know he was at Southern Nazarene, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was at St. Mary's.
I don't know why I have St. Mary's in my head.
Dallas J was at St. Mary's.
Yes, that's it. That's the person. Yeah,
Dallas J was at St. Mary's.
I knew I knew somebody, a goalkeeper at St. Mary's.
So Dallas J was there on the men's side. I was on there on the women's side for a whole year, and that was great because it was extra practice. Like, unfortunately, one of the goalies there got hurt for a little bit, and they needed a second goalie to have it. And I was like, I guess I'll do it. You know, so I'm in there playing,
pulling my arm.
Yeah, like I'm in there getting extra trainings, but it was like I didn't realize it until the off season, but I was like, this is unbelievably taxing. Like I'm coaching like 2 teams. I am going to the gym. I am going to work. I am doing all these things, and then I get like 6 hours of sleep, and then it was a lot of work. But like I said, ultimately kind of paid off. But it took a lot. Like going through through Contra Costa, we went into the Open Cup. And because it had just been like the COVID year, they had to do like open qualifiers because there was no like NPSL champion or whatever, right? So they did open qualifiers, and we played the qualifiers, and we made it to the 4th round of qualifiers, and we won in PKs, in which I saved quite a couple and ended up scoring one, which was terrifying. Like I look back to that moment. And like the day before, we had a training session, the day before the game. And at the end, we're like, let's do PKs, right? Prepared just in case. And it was 2 goalies, obviously, including myself. And I'm going down, like, let me just go, right? And I'm shooting off. I'm telling him where I'm going. But like, I went like on the most unbelievable run of PKs where like, I'm telling him where they're going, but they're just going like upper corner every single time or side post, right? And then the coach is like, what? Right? So we get to the game. We're down 1-0, come back 1-1, overtime, PKs. Get to PKs, right? Coach calls me over. He's like, hey, do you want to shoot one? I was like, no one else. He's like, no. Do you want to shoot one? I was like, no, absolutely not. And I was like, okay, look, because clearly he wanted me to shoot one. I was like, if we go to sudden death, I'll be the first. Okay. Which in retrospect is probably worse. And so we ended up shooting, did we go second? We did go second. So we went second. So we go whatever. And I think it was the 5th PK. Or we go into the 6th round. They go first. I make a save. And then I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm going to go shoot, right? But then they call it back. Said I like came off my line. They take it again. They end up scoring it. And I'm not even thinking about it. I go, I place the ball down. I shoot. I do the same run up that I usually do. And I score it. And it wasn't until after that we won, I was like, I would have missed that. We would have lost. Yeah. And I did not process that like in the moment. Yeah. I was so like pissed off about them like taking that away, like the save and all this stuff. I did not think, well, honestly, thank God. Because I think if I would have started thinking about that, I'm missing it.
I was going to say that there's a huge psychological thing about like when you're playing, whenever you're doing anything as an athlete, it's like you never want to be thinking, if you're having the thoughts of what if I lose it here? Yeah. What if the ball comes out to me and I miss the clearance? Yeah. What if I get that last second shot and I sky it?
No, you
have to be thinking the opposite. Like, oh, I'm going to score this. I'm going to do this. And it's like, we've all had games where we've had those negative thoughts like that. But like you realize you play the best when you're coming in, like, how can I score? What if I score? And what celebration am I going to do? And I swear when we start talking to people about what celebration they're going to score or what they're going to do, they score. It always happens.
We got to do it more often, man.
Yeah. But I'm going to start telling you, what's your next celebration when you score?
It was crazy because looking back, even on the pen, like I said, it was the same, like, obviously I feel like people have like a very set run up and like I try to do the same thing, try to keep everything the same, right? And it was such a shit pen. Like it was like low height, not even, like barely to the side it had to go. But like if the goalie even just like takes a step that way, he's saving it like 9 out of 10 times. So I hit the net. I was like, okay, we ended up winning. Thank God, I made the Open Cup. And from there is actually when I got like my first invite to an actual trial. Because the guy who was the goalie coach, going to be the goalie coach for Monterey Bay, Larry Jackson, he was at the game. He knew the people that were on the team that I was playing for. And they came to watch me play, liked me, they invited me on trial. And so that was kind of the first little step of me actually getting my first professional trial.
Isn't it crazy? Like, obviously, it might not work this way, but imagine in a different world where the day before that game where you took the pen, that you weren't just automatic, and then the goalkeeper, your coach wasn't like, "Oh, you're gonna take one," and it's like, I know that pen didn't lead to it, but like, who knows?
Yeah,
you know?
because I think if you're seeing like a goalkeeper like make saves and then he has like the courage to go up and take one himself, and like, oh man, this guy,
and then makes it.
This guy has it, you know?
Yeah,
so
that would
like,
sway
I'm
me.
sure maybe like I never thought about it that way. I just thought about it like that we won.
Yeah.
So like kind of think about it that way. That's an interesting way to look at it.
I always think about those little tiny decisions that, or like those little moments that led to something, led to the next
domino effect.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's cool. And they come out a lot on the podcast when you review it again. But that's awesome. So then you got a trial with Monterey Bay.
Yeah.
How was that? And you still don't have a green card, right?
No. So that was my first actual comment to them when they were like, because obviously the game happened, and it wasn't until a couple days later where my coach was like, hey, like Monterey reached out, because I knew about them. Like Monterey reached out, they want you to go on trial, and I was like, are you sure this isn't like an open tryout? Like that because obviously I'm like, I don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, this is like their actual preseason. And I was like, okay. I was like, do they know I don't have a green card? Like I led with that.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I don't have a green card. They're like, we don't care. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, whatever. And so I got invited to trial, and I was with it was Dallas J, Rafi Diaz, myself, and another goalkeeper on trial. So it was two of us on trial, two signed. And from what I had learned, it was they wanted a third. So I was like, I just got to beat out this guy. Like, I got this, right? Like, and sure enough, I did well in trainings. Like, I was on trial for close to 4 weeks. But like, luckily, the club where I was coaching at, Cal Magic in Herrera, they made sure that like they're like, dude, you go worry about this. Like, you go do your preseason. Don't worry about anything. Like, we got you. And like, to this day, I'm so thankful of them. And they were like, you go and play whatever, right? So I thought I'm doing great. And I remember because we were like 4 of us in the house, and I'm like, the odds are like only one of us are gonna get signed. Yeah. And I was like, it's gonna be me. Like, it has to be me. And so we go through trial, whatever, right? And go into my 4th week, goalie coach comes over to me, like, yeah, so we're gonna let you go. I was like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, yeah, so, and I guess, like, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, yeah, essentially, like, gotta let you go. Like, we're not gonna sign you. Now, I had no clue what to do. Because obviously, like, not that I was banking on it, but it was my first pro trial. I didn't know what to expect. I'm 24 at the time. So I'm definitely older, right? And I was like, still nothing. And I was like, man, like, okay. And they're like, okay, we're going to try to set you up on these other trials or whatever. Like, I was like, okay, I guess. And nothing came from it. So then Emmy, goalie coach, he's working with a NISA team, or like going and helping them. He's like, come in and train here.
Which team was that?
Bay Cities.
Bay City?
Yeah. So they were around for half a season.
I was like, I don't remember them at all.
No, they were around for like half a season. And I go there and I'm training, and I think I was if not the better goalkeeper there. And after a little bit, like, it's very clear that they're not liking me. They had preseason games against like Sac Republic, like colleges. And I'm not even getting rostered. I'm like, that's crazy. I was like, all right, whatever. And I was talking to my former coach at Contra Costa, and I was like, he's like, dude, just move on. He's like, and I honestly, it was a very rough time because I thought I had something, you know, because I was beating out the other goalkeeper in Monterey. I was doing really well. The coaches liked me, the group liked me, and it just kind of like all crumbles down in an instant, right? Now I'm like training with a NISA team, which like no disrespect, obviously, but like it's a step down. And like, you know what, whatever. Like, I gotta get in, and it didn't work out as well. So next thing you know, I'm like, okay, let me hit up my country cross coach, because they have Open Cup coming up. They were playing the Portland Timbers U23s or whatever, and I'm like, hey, like, I didn't get anything. Like, I'm ready for the Open Cup stuff. Like, let's go. And he's like, actually, we closed registration. Like, you don't have a team. And I was like, oh my God, dude. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And it's just the mental thought of like having to go through a whole year waiting for trials again. It was so tough. Like, I remember to this day, like, I was sitting down in the car with my wife and I like broke down, like ugly sobbing. And I was like, man, this is hard. It is so hard. Like, I want nothing more than to be a pro, but this is hard. And I was like, you know what? Okay. I'm going to go till I'm 26. Yeah. At 26, I don't have anything. I'll hang him up.
Yep. Like, I gave myself the same exact thing except 25.
Yeah.
I was in Germany and I was 22 and I said I was kind of miserable, like with like how the quality of life I was living with the money I was making and everything. And I said, yep, I'm going to go to 25. If I don't see progression, if I don't sign a real pro contract, I'm done. Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And my wife was like, I support you fully. Like, she understood. I was like, we might be here, we might be living apart for a little bit after living together. I might move across the country, like, who knows, right? Yeah. And she's like, I fully support you, which was great to hear, right? So I go back to these people that I was training with during COVID. One of them was running an NPSL team in Oakland, and I was like, yo, let me come through, right? And he's like, yeah, of course, you know. And so I get there. And obviously all these things that I've picked up from the trials are like showing up early, rolling out, doing this. Like, I'm there and I'm acting like, or I'm treating it like a professional environment and doing all the things I needed to be doing and trying to stand out. And it worked out, right? And we're getting my registration ready to go play for them. And I think it was a game up in Sacramento that they were going to play. I didn't get registered for it in time. So I was like, okay, whatever. I get to go home. It was my mom's birthday, I believe. And so we're having a party at my family's house, you know, just get together. And I think at this point, it's like the third game of the season in the USL already. And I've been watching all of Monterey's games just because I was friends with a lot of them. So it was like different watching the games and like knowing the people on the team, you know? So I was like, oh, like I'm watching and like you see the guys a little different. And you're watching it very, very different eyes. Yeah. And so I didn't even get to watch the full game. But they ended up beating Oakland. This was their first ever club win. I think it was like 3-2. But I see like the couple pictures at the end, and little do you know, you got Chase Boone in goal, and I'm like, what is Chase doing in goal, right? Obviously, you know Chase very well, and I'm like, he's a forward. I'm like, what is he doing in goal, right? And I go look like on ESPN, and I was like, no subs, no red card. I was like, what happened? And I go in and like I see, unfortunately, the goalie had like collision and like I think dislocated his shoulder, had a shoulder injury. And so I was like, oh man, that's unfortunate. And they ran out of subs, so they couldn't bring Dallas on. So they had to put someone on the field, and I guess it happened to be, I guess Chase Boone was your best option. So they put him in goal. They end up winning the game. And this, like I say, Saturday night, and me and my wife are both looking at it, and we're like, this is kind of crazy. And like I'm like half joking. I was like, well, they need someone. I'm like, I'm free. You know? They didn't think much of it. And then Sunday night, goalkeeper coach calls me, and I'm like, hello. He's like, hey, Carlos, how's it going? I'm like, good, blah, blah, right? And he's like, look, we had a goalie got hurt. Can you come down and train tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, perfect. I'll be there. And now all I'm thinking is, man, I'm so happy that I did not like throw everything away after everything kind of fell down, because it would have been so easy to like just sulk and eat like crap and just not do anything and just like feel bad for myself. Don't get me wrong, I felt bad for myself like a day or two, you know, but like I was like, all right, back to it, right? And so they call me down, and I'm like, all right, here we go, hour-and-a-half drive down to Monterey. And I get down there, I train, have pretty good training. I'm actually very nervous. And the guys see me in the locker room, and they're like, oh, hey, like, we thought you were going to get signed. Like, good to see you back, whatever. I trained really good. And then they're like, hey, so we're going to sign you to a 25-day contract. Yeah.
And were there still only 2 goalkeepers there, or were there 3 now?
No,
so they never signed a third.
They never signed a third.
That was the reason.
Yeah. So they never signed a third.
Mm-hmm.
So now you only got Dallas, right?
Yeah.
And they don't know how long Rafi's going to be out at the time. So they get me on a 25-day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, cool. What does this mean? I don't know what a 25. And so they told me, like, look. And I was talking to the guys at my former club, and they're like, dude, just take it. Like, one day at a time. Like, whatever comes after, like, comes after, right? And so I get my 25-day. I'm starting to, like, travel with the team to away games. Like, it's such a sick experience, you know?
Yeah.
I was just happy to be there, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to play. I didn't expect anything. I'm just having a good time. And then little by little, like, people were like, hey, like, keep pushing, you know? Maybe you get a chance sometime. But, like, genuinely, at first, they didn't cross my mind. I was just happy to be there. I'm like, man, I'm happy to be here. You know, I understand my role. Like, I'm just here to support. And I didn't really realize I could genuinely compete. Obviously, that took a little bit, but I never really fully grasped, like, the contract situations or had a moment like, oh my God, I made it, right? Because it was always like trial.
Yeah.
And then it's like cut. And it's like 25-day, right?
And you're
and
like,
then,
does this count?
Yeah,
I'm not in
yeah.
it.
And
It's
so
not real. Like,
it was weird because then after the 25-day, which ended on a Friday, they didn't say anything Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, really?
And I'm like,
you're like,
I was like, what the
do I show up on Monday?
No, literally. That's what I told him. I told my guy that I was talking to. I was like, he's like, dude, did they tell you to not show up? I was like, no. He's like, then show up.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. So I show up, and then after training, they're like, hey, so we're gonna sign you to a performance-based contract.
Okay.
Which obviously means that to a certain date, they have the right to not sign you further.
And what year was this?
This was 2022, first year of the CBA.
Okay, yeah.
So CBA is in place. So now there's a bit of guardrails to help me out, right? So which was in retrospect kind of like nice to have, right?
That sounded like post CBA.
Yeah, no, this is definitely CBA stuff. Because my first 25-day, I remember we drove down, signed the contract in my car with my wife. I'm like, but like it never. You picture yourself signing your first contract and all these things. And it's like all this glamorous moment, all this stuff. But like it was really cool because it was such an intimate moment with my wife and myself after having such a like broken moment, you know? So like same car, we had a broken moment where here we are like putting my initials on every page and then reading through it, signing it, right? So that was like a very, very cool moment. And then like I said, they gave me the performance base. I'm like, I don't know what this means. Cool. You know, like I'm just happy. And then next day they come down, they're like, hey, so it's no longer a performance based. I guess we have too many of them already. You're fully guaranteed through the rest of the year. I'm like, okay, cool, right? But like, I never got a feeling of like, I did it.
Yeah,
you know? It was crazy because like.
Because it was very like it was like almost a gradual increase.
And it was always like
from like trial to like, oh, now it's 25-day to performance based to now you're
but
there.
It was always like okay, like where's the catch? Like Now obviously like they knew I was international and they like it's okay. Like Frank Yalla was like, don't worry about it. Like which very thankful to him for that, obviously. And so I signed, and then we were getting ready to open up the stadium for the first time. We're playing, team struggling a little bit. So then I remember, I think it's like a Thursday, coach calls me in, or assistant coach Ramiro Corrales calls me in. He's like, how you feeling? I'm like, good. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. He's like, go to the office. Frank wants to talk to you. He's like, he wants you to play on Saturday.
The home opener?
Yeah. But he's like, just don't say anything. He's like, don't tell him I told you. So I'm in there. I'm fucking shitting bricks, dude. I'm like, you know. And then he's like, how's it going, Carlos? I'm like, good. You know, yeah, all right. He's like, you know, you've been doing really well, trainings, all this stuff. We want you to start on Saturday, home opener, right? Like inaugural game at the stadium. I'm like, okay, you know, like sick. And he's like, how do you feel? I'm like, okay, you know, but obviously inside my brain's going a million miles an hour. Like I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm scared. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I walk out of there. First thing I do, I message my wife. I'm like, I'm starting Saturday. And she's like, what? No way, Bob. She's obviously super excited. And And this is kind of where I got like my I did it moment. In the sense, like, I call my family up, and like even just sometimes thinking about it, I get a little emotional. I call my mom up, my family up, and I was like, hey, like, are you guys coming down to the game on Saturday? You know, first professional game, right? I'm just on the bench, or in their head, I'm just on the bench, but like, you know, how cool, right? And they're like, oh, you know, we don't know, 7 p.m. game, like hour 45, 2-hour drive. It's kind of rough, you know? And that's why I was like, well, I'm starting. And they're like, oh, what? And I just hear tears in the background. Like I said, I'm kind of fighting emotions right now.
Yeah.
But like, I hear tears in the background. Like, they're crying, I'm crying. Like, it's a crazy moment. And so then, obviously, game day comes. They show up to the game, like rolling like 20, 30, 40 deep at this game. Game sells out, right? And I play my first ever game, get a win, get a shutout, clean sheet. Like, first win at home, first clean sheet at home. Like, it was just an unbelievable experience.
Awesome.
And then, like, obviously go around saying hi to the fans, like signing autographs, and like my family's like front row, like literally on the security rail, watching all these people like ask for my autographs, take pictures, sign stuff, and like go to them, and they're kind of like, oh, you did it. And I was like, I did it. So it was an unbelievable moment. And that was kind of like when it all kind of like hit, and it was like, oh man, this was worth it.
That's so cool.
And I was like, I was lucky enough that I was close enough to home that like them and so many like family, friends, loved ones got to come out and watch it. It was such a surreal moment.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. It's so cool too, the fact that the inaugural game in that stadium, which is a really, really cool environment, really cool stadium, and then to have it with your family there, then to have the win and the shutout, that's like a dream. I mean, because it's like you don't really think about it as a kid, but like I even think about it when you score a goal. You think about the celebration, you think about all this stuff, but a lot of times you score and it's like your team's losing. You have to run back. You're like, you don't get that same feeling. Or like you score and it's like goal number 3, and you're like, well, I can't really do a crazy celly because it's like 3 goals up or whatever. So it's like all these types of things, and then or you have a really good game, but then your team loses. Or it's like you have I remember the first game I had, I think we tied, but we played terribly. And I was like, I was so happy that I did decent, but then the coach was pissed in the locker room. I'm like, well, I didn't really imagine my first game of my professional career to be yelled at in the locker room, you know? Like it went differently in my head.
It's crazy, dude. It's so crazy.
So to have all that to line up is really cool.
Like I remember, like I had a save, like a corner save in my close friend in Monterey after a couple of years, but we started like thinking back about games, and turns out it was him who like had like a back post header on target, 80-something minute, and I make a save to like keep us in it and get our first win at home. And it was like, we talk about it, I'm like, that's crazy how things work out. Obviously, him and I are like amazing friends now, and just to have that moment is like, but yeah, I don't think it possibly could have worked out better, because like ultimately whatever happens, but like that's something like I'll always have. And it's like first clean sheet ever there, that was me. Like first ever win ever there, that was me. You know, so like no matter what happens with my career, is like I always have that moment to like look back on and be like, hey, like this is where it all started, and this is something that can't be taken away from me. And I'm very grateful for that.
I remember thinking, like, because it wasn't as long as yours, but from the minute I dropped out of college to the minute I signed my pro contract was a year and a half, which was a year and a half bouncing around. I went on like 15 plus trials everywhere. I mean,
like, it's a long year and a half.
It's a long year and a half. And everybody's asking what's going on, what's your situation, you know? And then I was in Germany, I signed like a semi-pro deal, and I was just like, wasn't really happy because I was so far away and it wasn't what I envisioned. And then I remember doing all that and like thinking like, man, like seeing my friends have fun and like have real jobs and make real money and go out for brunch together. I'm like, did I make the right choice? Because it doesn't feel like it did. And then I remember once I got, you know, my first season under my belt and like playoff win, and like you get those moments like that where you feel just like, this is what I did it for. And like you said, it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter even if, you know, for the next 4 years I'm playing semi-pro, trying to get up to pro level. Everything I did was worth it just for that.
100%.
You know, and it validated all that for me, and it was very nice to have. It was like all that work pay off, because a lot of times it doesn't, and so it's really nice to be like, okay, it paid off for me.
It was kind of one of those where, like I told you, like in my head there was really never like it's not gonna work out, but like I think that time when I told you that I broke down the car, that was kind of like the first time that I genuinely realized this might not happen.
Yeah.
Like it was never a thought in my mind. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. But then I was like, you know what? Like, I genuinely might not do it.
Yeah.
And then you start getting this thing of like, well, who am I if I don't play soccer? Like, who am I if I don't achieve my dream of being a professional? Like, this is literally what I've molded my life towards. College decisions, like school decisions, moving away, all this stuff was guiding me towards this. What if I never make it? And thank God I never got to that.
Yeah.
But they're scary thoughts, to be honest. And so I'm lucky and fortunate to like have it had worked out for me, because like I said, I don't know how things would have played out differently otherwise, but like it was such a struggle. But like looking back on it, it was such a beautiful struggle. Like not like sleeping 6 hours, working 2 jobs, coaching here, driving 2 hours here, 1 hour there, just trying to get trainings. And like, it's also rewarding looking back on it, and just going back, so many people that helped you out along the way, and just having them be able to come out of a game and watch you, or seeing all that, it's so rewarding.
Yeah, it was it's one of those things too. I think even if it doesn't, like I remember my dad telling me, it's like even if it doesn't work out, he's like, you'll never be 50 years old looking back at you at 22 and be like, what if I just spent one more year?
Yeah.
What if I did that? Because like that's what eats people alive.
Yeah.
The fact if like, let's say you go until you're 26, you grind it out, it never works out. Yeah, you never get that feeling and you're like, was it worth it? But then you'll never have that regret of being like, man, what if I just spent another year going for it? Like, could I have signed a pro contract?
Yeah, of course. Like I had people, obviously when I moved back and then things started opening up, I started joining like indoor rec leagues with my high school friends or my high school teammates or whatever. And then they're like, oh, it's like obviously like conversation sparks up, and like, so like, how's it going? And like I was like, oh, I'm still trying. And then obviously it comes up, and like they're like respectfully like, when do you stop?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why ultimately, like I said, I ended up giving myself like a hard deadline and like all these things. But definitely started my career a little later than I would have liked.
Yeah, because how old were you when you signed your contract?
24.
24.
So obviously in goalkeeper years is not as bad.
Yeah.
You know, but like
it's not young.
It's not young whatsoever.
You're
right?
not a young prodigy at 24.
And I told you, especially like meeting my my wife and her family, they're like, "What do you want to do?" And it's like,
you're gonna be taking
I'll
care.
be a pro soccer player. like I tell her, I was like, "Dude, if I was your dad and I have someone come up to me like, I want to be a pro," I'm like, "Look at this clown."
I say the same thing. Mimi's parents supported me like going for that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is easy to support an 18-year-old saying that and stuff. But
course.
like at the point where now I'm graduated, I didn't graduate. I dropped out of college. Yeah. Mimi's kind of like finishing up college, and it's like, oh, this is supposed to be like the provider is now making $500 a month over in Germany.
I had just turned 24, like probably around the time where I met her parents. So, and we were living together. So they're like, oh, this is the guy that's going to take care of my daughter. Yeah. He's like coaching 2 jobs, like wants to be a pro. What does that mean, right?
Yeah.
So like when we were playing in Monterey, they were constantly going to the games. Like my in-laws, honestly, huge supporters of just me in general, and like my mother-in-law will like buy gear. She'll go to Mexico, wear the gear, like all these things. And it's honestly like obviously my family's been like the pillars of like just me pushing for it, like always providing for me, right? But now it's like I have them as well, like showing all this support after like seeing me struggle. Yeah. But like just all the support that I've gotten just from my in-laws and just obviously my family as well is I've had such an unbelievable support group that like if my family wasn't as tight knit and like as supportive as they were, like for me to achieve my goals, whether it was just making it through college or whatever it was, like there's no way that I can do it. Like my wife, like so many people, dude. Like, you know how it is. There's a million people that help you down the road, and you're eternally grateful for them. Yeah. Otherwise, like you can't do it by yourself.
It makes me really want to be that person that helped me. Like there's so many players and coaches and stuff that did that. It's like, oh, when I'm done, or even as a current pro, I try to help out old teammates, young guys that I see that coming up and like get agents or put in a good word or something. But like it makes me want to be like, oh, I gotta be that other side now in the future.
Dallas J, like loved the guy. Like it was him and I in the goalkeeper room, only just us two. And I'm asking him, I'm like, how do I become a starter? Like, essentially asking him, how do I take your job? And he was like, do you do this? You do that? You do that? And like never a bad like look towards me, never nothing, like always just like genuinely helping me and trying to find ways to help me out and like develop my game. where he just easily could have been like, fuck off, kid.
Yeah,
Like, this
yeah.
is my job. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And he didn't do that. He did the opposite. He genuinely, like, helped me, mentored me, like, gave me a lot of help. And it was to the point where, like, now we had, I kind of had, like, a full circle moment in a sense, very shortly this year when we played at Birmingham. There was a kid who was coming in to work with us during the summers in Monterey. And he was playing in college, playing in Boston and New Hampshire. And then he ended up signing a MLS Next contract. And he came out to watch our game in Birmingham. He's playing in Huntsville. His name was Eric Lauta. Great kid. And he drove down to watch the game, had no clue, didn't tell me. See him during warm-ups. I'm like, man, this is sick. And after the game, he asked me for my jersey, and he's like, I look up to you. He's like, I've messaged you so many times about advice, and you've given it to me. And he's like, and honestly, I'm so like thankful for it. And I was like, dude, like, of course.
Yeah.
It was such like a kind of like a humbling and like nice moment that he would be like wanting of my jersey, because like I'm like, who wants my jersey, you know? So like the fact that he was like, could I get your jersey? I'm like, yeah, of course, here you go, man. And then he was like, I had him. I'm like, you know what? Just send me yours as well, so I have it. Yeah. And he did as well. But it was such a nice moment. I always think like we should be doing that to like the younger generations. Like obviously, like it just no matter what age, it's like, hey, like do this, like do that, like it's kind of helping them, because obviously like you don't know like the kind of impact you could be having in someone's life, and it could be very drastic. Yeah.
100%. Because the end of the day, we're like, you are people over footballers. Yeah, and it's like how your impact on people, I think, is more important than starting 3 more games. And also, you should, like, my goal with wherever team I play for, like at the beginning of the year, we had 4 right wing backs at the beginning of the year, and I was like, look, at the end of the day, all 4 of us need to put our best games out there. We can all be really close off the field. I'm close with everybody off the field like that, like we're competing for the same position. And it's just like, at the end of the day, we just put our best games out there, and then Danny picks who he thinks is going to help on the weekend. It's like, there should be no animosity between me and Haruki or me and Reese or whoever, because it's like, we're all fighting for the same thing.
And that's why I chose to come here. Yeah. Ultimately, like,
and if I have to sabotage somebody else to get on the field, like that's just my own insecurity. That means I'm not good enough.
That's crazy.
I should earn the spot, you know, with them playing their best game.
Yeah, genuinely earn it.
And vice versa. And then obviously with squad rotation, injuries, everybody gets a chance. It's just, it never made sense to me of like being like, I don't even know, a dick just like that.
It just, I didn't really believe it, but one of my coaches at Contra Costa was like, it matters more than you think being a good person. Like, obviously, at this point, everyone's good, and it's like, okay, how are they as a person? And like, are they a good locker room guy? Like all these things matter. Yeah. And it obviously, like, leaving Monterey, one of my bigger things that like drew me here, on top of working with Emmy, who I'd worked with before, was like knowing that I'd be working alongside Carlos. I knew of him, played against each other as kids, and then obviously I trained with him in the off seasons, so I knew the kind of guy he was, and I'm like, I'm gonna go in there like and train with him, because I know we'll have no animosity towards each other. Whether he's obviously he was starting first and got hurt, unfortunately. I got to play some games. Then he come back. Now he's playing right now, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, we both want to play. Yeah. And we do the best we can in trainings. But the team's doing well, and we have a good relationship. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like, him and I get along amazingly. So like, if he's the one starting, obviously, like, okay, I wish I was starting. I'm not. How can I help him, right? And if he's doing great, fantastic for him. Cheer him on, right? Support everyone. Because at the end of the day, like, the team's doing good. Like, that's all that matters. Like, no point in being selfish about anything, not helping people out, all these things. Like, that's why I look back on like people that I've seen kind of be that way. I'm like, dude, what are you doing, dude? Like,
it's short-sighted.
Like, at the end of the day, like 10, 20 years from now, like, if I remember Matt, obviously, oh yeah, like, we'll remember the football, but it's like, good guy, like, funny, throws jokes maybe when he shouldn't, right? But he's such a good person to be around. He shouldn't. He's such a good person to be around, and that's ultimately, like, I think what sticks aside from the football.
Yeah, 100%. And then after that season, you signed again pretty quick, I'm guessing. And did you sign a 2-year deal after that?
I signed a 1+1. So I got 1 year guaranteed and then 1 year as an option.
And did you have that feeling now of like, I made it when you signed that next contract, or was it just like, nope, I deserve this, let's go move on?
Yeah, it was just, let's get back to work. I played a couple games, got hurt because my body took a bit of adjusting from the NPSL to the pro levels. Like I said, I was heavier, so took a little bit, and then got in, and then I got to play the very last game of the season, did well, and so like that really helped me in order to like renew. And then like they knew that I still didn't have my green card, and they're like, we don't care, like you've earned it, you're a good person, you're a good player, you're a good locker room guy, like we want to have you here. So they kept me there, and I was like, all right, like I'm ready to get to work this off season, like drop weight, work, like improve on all these things. So I was just ready to go. So it was never really like I made it. Like I knew people say like your second contract is harder than your first. And I've seen that happen, but I was just kind of like, I want to keep working. I'm hungry.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. And then again, like for the next 2 years at Monterey, you had like a good couple years.
Yeah.
Playing well, playing a lot, making a lot of the good saves, except when you played against Detroit City. But other than that, how was those 2 years? Like you felt like you were in your groove a bit?
At times. I played the most my second year. I played a little bit over half the season. Whereas my first year and my third year, I played a lot less. But I always felt like I was doing what I could in trainings, like getting extra trainings. And when I did play, I thought I tried to put my best foot forward most times. I definitely think I was very poor my first year, just being naive and like not knowing what the pro game was like obviously playing teams and just conceding goals that maybe now I won't, right? Because it's like it's a learning curve, right?
It's a learning curve, yeah.
So, but aside from that, I think I've put relatively like sound performances second and third year.
Yeah.
So I thought I always gave it my best and just did my best, whether the results reflected it or not. Like I usually left knowing like, okay, like I did everything that I possibly could. And it was like very good group of guys for the most part.
Yeah.
A lot of people who I still talk to today, consider really close friends. So like ultimately, like I said, you leave with those kind of things.
Yeah.
But it was good.
And then after that third year, you came here.
Yeah.
And how did that transition go? I know there's a coaching change at Monterey Bay that third year.
Yeah.
How did that go in the off season, and what made you come to Detroit?
So I think that a coaching change could have been the benefit to me, just because obviously whenever there's a coaching change, it's like a reset. Yeah. Everyone starts from zero. So I was able to earn playing time that way, and then I closed the year out playing pretty well, if I say so myself, to the point where like, okay, like now I got a couple of options of what I want to do. And I think I'd been so used to like moving around, like I said, Iowa, Little Rock, Texas, all these places. I had been in California for a bit. Like it's been like 5 years, like 4 years that I'd been around there. And I was like, okay, like I think it's time for something.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you stay in one place, it's kind of hard for you to grow. And I was like, I think it's time for a new challenge. And so, like I said, ultimately knowing Emmy, knowing what I knew about Detroit, the team, like having come here as a player from Monterey and having an absolute blast in the city and seeing how like the atmosphere at the stadium, I was like, yeah, no, like when my agent reached out to me like, hey, we had contact from Detroit, are you interested? I was like, hell yeah, I'm interested. So and the ball got rolling, and then ultimately it was an easy decision, just because not because it was easy to leave Monterey, but because I knew that it was time for something bigger and like a bigger challenge for myself, that I was relatively comfortable being close-ish to home, and you know, knowing everyone there for many years and kind of being that kind of person. But I was like, no, I think I gotta push myself again.
Yeah, I felt like the same way in Tulsa. I spent 3 years in Tulsa. Love the place, love the team, love my coach, love everything. But then there was just something inside me that was just like, you're comfortable here.
Yeah.
And like, I'm going to play my best footy, and I'm going to develop, and I want to learn more, and I want to just go outside my comfort zone again. Yeah. And I had a good season. So I knew coming off that I should have options. Yeah. And so I was like, yeah. They wanted me back for the fourth year for 2022, but I was like, I needed something else. Yeah. And it's just, that's the same exact situation. It's just like, you have that gut feeling that's like, it's time.
And it's usually best, I think, to like experience different things, right? I mean, we're not really able to once we're done playing, we're not really going to be able to move like left, right, up, down.
I mean,
as
how
freely
many
as we
times
can.
how many times in your life when you finish the season and you're done and people go, "What's next?" You're like, "We'll see. I don't know."
Yeah.
And you could literally in the off season, like that off season, I remember talking to teams in Finland, talking to a team in Greece, talking to a team in the CPL, talking to multiple teams, Charleston, Sacramento, Forward Madison. Those were, and so it's like you're looking around the globe.
Yeah, like where am I going to live?
Yeah. And Mimi's over there, like, I don't know what to pack. Do I need a winter coat? Do I need shorts? Like,
my lady knows that for at least these next couple of years, like anything is possible, like in sense of moving wise. Obviously, absolutely love it here. I'm here for at least another year, according to my contract. But I think it's been a great decision for me to move here, just because it has been that much of a challenge. So I feel like I've grown as a person, as a player, and it's made me that much better for it.
Yeah. And how are you liking it here?
I like it a lot. I've always been a fan of the snow, believe it or not. Maybe because I had never been around it until college.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed coming here and seeing snow, and then obviously you get all 4 seasons here, and the environment's great. The locker room is fantastic. Like everyone gets along with everyone, and it's like, like there's no cliques. Like everyone gets
Except when
along.
Haruki and Jesse go out to dinner by themselves. Were you part of that dinner crew?
I was not.
Yeah.
No.
No text, huh?
No text. All I got was a picture in the group chat of them ordering, and I was like,
Crazy.
Unbelievable
Crazy.
invite.
Besides that, it's pretty good. But.
Aside from that, it's really good. Like I said, I had a rocky start to my preseason here. Like I felt like I was just having shocking mistakes and just having a trouble getting up to speed. But I had such a hard time being mad. Like, because obviously you have bad sessions. Sometimes you want to be upset with yourself. It was hard to be upset, like, with the group, because, like, everyone's joking around. Everyone's having a good time. That, like, it kind of makes you forget about it, and you just enjoying the time being around the team. So, like I said, having such a great locker room is that much better than when maybe the locker room isn't as great, and you're like, okay, you had a bad day, and now you got to go argue with someone, or it's just you go into the locker room and like everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Like you should want to, like, the best seasons I've had are when you like are looking forward to coming into training, because the sessions are gonna be good, the team's gonna be fun to be around. And the worst ones are the worst seasons I've had when it's the opposite, when I literally wake up and my alarm goes off and I'm like how am I feeling like that to go play professional football? Like how,
like I'm getting paid to, like, I'm living my dreams, and I
want to hit snooze. Yeah. Like this year, last year, multiple other seasons of my career, like I wake up and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go mess with Alex. I can't wait to go in and talk shit to whoever. But it definitely is.
It's crazy that you wake up and you're like, I can't wait to hold the locker room door closed today.
Make Jay Boogie pissed because I'm keeping the locker room door. But those things, it is important for sure. So now I'm going to hit you 3 final questions of the podcast, okay? So question number 1 is, what is the all-time greatest moment of your career?
Relatively short career, but I would have to say it's my debut in front of my family.
Yeah, that's what I had in my head. I was like, it's probably going to be that.
Has to be that.
Yeah. You talked about it in depth, but I feel like there's no way you can get a higher high than that. It's going to be
very hard to top that. Like, ultimately, like, maybe, I don't know, end up
lifting a trophy or something.
Lifting a trophy, and then I think that'd be the only way to top that, to be honest.
Yeah. That's an unbelievable experience. On the flip side, what do you think was the darkest, worst time of your life or your career before you signed a pro contract? What was like the hardest moment where you were like the closest to being like, yeah, I'm done?
I think you can go 50-50 on 2. One being just my recovery and like dealing with like my ACL injury. That was a very hard time because, like I said, I felt like maybe because it was a knee injury, maybe my career was done before it even started, right? So that was one. And then the second one would be failing in 2 different trials within the span of like a month. And then kind of seeing, it's like, okay, am I really built for waiting around, hoping that a trial comes knocking and that a team is maybe willing to overlook my international status? And I was like, am I really willing to put myself through that mentally for the next 2 years? I think those have to be the 2 times that I was probably, honestly, I want to say I'd probably be closer to quitting after I failed in the trials than I did for my ACL. because like ACL, I was like, no, I'm like so many people saying no, I'm coming back, you know. So I had that drive, but like after that, I'm like, dude, I tried. Like, am I really going to try for another X amount of years?
There's nothing worse, like, than when you go and you feel like you're playing well. You feel like you've got, you work so hard for these opportunities that you created for yourself. You get there, you've been there for 4 weeks or however long you were there for. You've grinded, you've started to create relationships with the guys you envisioned your life there.
Yeah.
And then you're all of a sudden within one conversation, you're back to square one.
Yeah, no, it's
you're like,
absolutely
I have
wild.
to start this from the beginning again. I have to start reaching out to people, agents, emails, all this stuff again.
Yeah, no, it's
like, do I have it in me?
It was very hard, like mentally. Like I said, I generally don't know if I would have lasted, because like you're waiting till the summer window and then try to get on trial, and then if not, you're waiting and then playing NPSL again, and then trying to get into maybe preseason trials again. And it's just, I think it would have been a lot. I think so. Got put through it, and luckily didn't have to wait as long. But if I did, I don't know, man. I genuinely, like, there was times during it where I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah. And then final question: if you could have a time machine now and go back to one of those moments, or it could be a different moment too, but if you could go back and talk to your younger self, what would you say to your younger self, and at what point in time would you go back?
I think I would go back to myself in my freshman year of college.
Okay.
And I would go back and share all the knowledge that I didn't have about what it takes, like on the nutrition side of things, what it takes in the sense of extra work, how much of a grind it might be, and how to not be discouraged by all the no's that you're going to get. Because ultimately, you're going to get like a million no's before you hear a yes, right? Yeah. But it's just that one yes that matters. So I think if I were able to go back, I'd just give myself like a blueprint, because I feel like ultimately maybe, I don't know, if I give myself that blueprint as a freshman in college, my college career is very different. Not that I would want to change it. Yeah. Because I loved all the friends that I made in Iowa. I loved all the friends that I made in Texas, right? But who knows, maybe I would have started at a higher place, or maybe I could have done something differently. But at the same time, ultimately, like I'm grateful for my journey and everything for the way that it happened.
You don't want to change it, but it's
you would give yourself advice, but ultimately, like, I'm happy with the way things played out.
So you would go back to your freshman year and basically hit them with the reality of like, professional footy.
Be like, you are absolute shit.
You don't know what this entails.
You don't know how, like,
you're mentally weak.
You think you're good? You're absolutely shit. I was like, you're nowhere near where you want to be. There are goalies that are a million times better than you. I was like, you are not punctual. Like, you have zero.
Set an alarm.
You have zero discipline. Like, you're not gonna make it like this. And so, like, I think that's what I've.
You just beat up your former self.
No, I would have fast
bars of soap and a pillowcase, just beat him.
I would have fast tracked my my learning curve a little bit more.
I like that a lot. Awesome. Well, actually, going back to Giselle, when did you meet Giselle?
I met her in 2020 when I moved back, about a couple months after.
How'd you meet her?
So my best friend from middle school, high school, his wife.
Because we talked about your wife through this podcast, but I was like, we haven't talked about this part.
My like I said, my best friend from high school, middle school, his wife, and Giselle were childhood friends. So they grew up together, and then they, I moved back from. So we met at a party for this for his wife's like sweet 16 essentially. So we knew of each other, but like never really talked, whatever. We're obviously doing our own things. And then COVID comes around, I moved back, and they're trying to introduce us. So they're trying to play matchmakers. We meet, whatever, right? She wants absolutely nothing to do with me, because while I'm at college, I'm playing video games with my friends all the time. And I'm telling him everything that's going on in college, giving him all my stories, all the stuff that's going on. Naturally, he shares it with his girlfriend and wife now, right? And so then she really relays it to Giselle. And so Giselle hears all these things about me. Oh, like, oh, he's a douchebag, all these things, right? So she sees me and she's like, I want nothing to do with him. It took a little bit of convincing, but I got myself to grow on her. And then we started talking a bit more, just going out on dates, and then moved in together after a bit. We were looking into like a roommate situation, just because the housing situation was complicated, where my roommate, his girlfriend, and my wife were at. So it got complicated. We were all trying to just move in together. I was trying to get out of my parents' house. So we're like, let's make this happen somehow. At this point, her and I had been talking for quite a couple months now. So we're looking for 3-bedroom apartments. California, I'm sure you can imagine how that went.
Terrible.
Absolutely atrocious. So then we realized we had to go for a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
And then we were like, I guess we'll share a room. You know? So
I guess,
you know. So it started off that way, and then living together for a little bit, and then had to do some distance while I was at Monterey, and she was back in the Bay Area, and then eventually I was able to bring her down to Monterey with me, and then across the country to Detroit. So
that's funny. Talk some douchebag guy from college. All of a
Dude,
sudden now she's following you to
she
Detroit.
was out there at like Sunday league parks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no people in the stands. Just like the sun just absolutely beaming on her.
Yeah.
Like watching these NPSL like lower level games, right? And she's like has no clue what she got herself into. Absolutely zero clue. And next thing you know, she's watching games in Monterey, right? Watching games at Keyworth, like watching soccer with me every day on the weekends, like understanding stuff about soccer that like I'm like that's impressive. So like now she's all about footy, loves it. But I think if you go back and you tell her, hey, like you're gonna end up marrying a footballer and you're gonna be crazy about football, she'd probably shoot you. She's like, there's no way I'm marrying this college guy. But
that's funny.
Yeah, no, she's unbelievable. She supports me fully. Like she knows what this entails, and she's the best partner I could have asked for. Just willing to help, and just so loving and supporting through it all. So ultimately, you know, I'm sure you know how important that is through.
Well, my wife abandoned me to go back to California, so I don't know about that. I'm just kidding. Mimi's great. Don't come with Mimi.
So you know how important having someone like that is in your corner.
I mean, you've seen me mentally crumble these last like 4 days with my family gone.
Yeah.
Because Mimi's back in California for like 10 days to see her niece's birthday and do some work for interior design and stuff. And
all of a sudden, prime August Matt Sheldon seems so prime.
Then I hit that ball over the crossbar. And then
look, man, how many days till she comes back?
She comes back Monday.
Look, you're just in time for these next home games.
Yep.
If you don't score, what's your next celebration gonna be?
You'll see.
Well, I want to see.
You will see.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Family's gonna be here. You're gonna be fully together again. You're gonna be whole.
It's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be a good time.
I can't wait. That's why I invited you here, because I got nothing better to do today.
Mexicans got to stick together.
We do. Awesome. Well, Carl, anything else that you want? Any shout outs? Anything you got to say? Anything we didn't cover that you really want to talk about, or are we good?
I just a couple thank yous, I guess.
Yeah.
The Vashrani family, Laredo Heat, unbelievable people. My coach at Texas and Iowa. My coaches at Little Rock, the staff at Little Rock, and the staff at Contra Costa. All the teams that have, whether it's been college or college, NPSL, or even the club team where I was coaching at Cal Magic. Those people I couldn't have done it without. So, and my high school coach as well. So, can't do it without them. So, all this is thanks to you guys.
Awesome. Well, Carlos, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having
it.
me, man.
Of course, man. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for watching the Against All Odds podcast. See you next time.